Thanks, everyone. So today I'm going to talk about the Local Government and Ageing project. We all know that ageing has been considered by national governments as an issue for quite a long time, and they've looked at the impact on national budgets of an ageing population. In 2010, the Australian government released the Intergenerational Report, which had a whole chapter on ageing pressures on the budget and spending. But very little work to date has been done on the impact on local government of an ageing population. So this study specifically focused on that. It began with two in-depth workshops in two LGAs, one in North Coast and one metropolitan, and identified the key impacts on council services. It was funded by Ageing, Disability and Home Care in the New South Wales Government in 2010, and the study was actually conducted by Peter Phibbs from the University of Western Sydney. But he wanted me to give this talk rather than him because he thought you'd start throwing tomatoes if you had to listen to him 3 times today. So we partnered with University of Western Sydney to do the study. There were 12 rural councils and 9 metropolitan councils involved in the project. The aim of the project was to look at not only the burden of older people, but the social and economic contribution of older people, to identify the magnitude of costs for local government of an ageing population, to look at the financial impacts, the range of council services affected, and the potential impacts on council's revenue raising capacity. So these are the 12 rural councils. You can see we had quite a good spread across coastal and inland councils, and these are the 9 metro councils that participated. So the key findings of the project were that up until now, ageing has really been, thanks Dan, a community services issue in council, and just now that councils are working in a more integrated way, it's become much more of a cross-council issue. So the findings of the project were that the older people really are valuable contributors to the community. And also there's these expectations on a number of services for councils. None of this will be a surprise to you, but ranging from transport, footpaths, bus shelters, community services, and also facilities for visiting populations. One North Coast council talked about the impact of grey nomads on their facilities. They had converted an old airstrip to an RV leisure village for caravans and RVs. And that had a whole lot of different community facilities, including silage dumping points. That was a big impact on council's costs of infrastructure provision. And then there was the sea changers and tree changers who moved from the city but still expect the same level of service that they had in a city location. So there's a number of cost pressures on councils from population ageing, and councils need to prepare for these. The range of services is quite broad, from garbage collection, where older people can no longer manage to wheel out the huge wheelie bins, to community transport and care, and even just the provision of extra land for cemeteries. Another concern that came out of the report that councils have noticed was a social isolation issue for older people, and that has an impact on council's policy provision in terms of improving transport to make sure older people can be engaged in the community, and coordinating services between government and NGOs, looking at ways to engage older people, and also to collect data and share resources to help plan for these needs. The other part of the project was to develop a toolkit for councils. This is located on the LGSA website. It has 4 main components. The first one is a financial readiness checklist. And this really looks at how well council's existing strategies are actually ready to meet the needs of an ageing population. So it's a way of just assessing your readiness. The second resource is the financial planning resource. This uses actual data from the study from different councils and provides examples of how much different types of services cost. So it's a way of just estimating some of the costs that may be involved in providing different types of services for older people. The third part of the resource is the strategies and actions resource, which just looks at ways that councils can prepare and key things they can do. And the last part of the toolkit is just the priority actions checklist, so the things that are really important to do first. So this is the report. It's on our website. It's also on the Ageing, Disability and Home Care website. And this is the address for it. So we'll look forward to using it more. And that's it from me. Thanks.